Look closely at the thick textures and chaotic brushstrokes of this portrait. A human hand never touched this canvas. Watch this grand master burying his face in his hands. The deep, strategic trap that defeated him wasn't planned by a biological mind. Notice this test car perfectly navigating a physical obstacle course. There is no human intuition guiding the steering wheel. And when you see this interface typing out coherent, intelligent paragraphs, you are watching responses generated from thin air. We have a machine with no brain that has never lived a day in the real world, performing highly complex tasks. We have to determine if it is genuinely thinking, or if we are simply being tricked by an incredibly fast calculator. You might view this technology as a distant, abstract concept, but you interact with this invisible system dozens of times every single day. When you need the fastest route across town, you rely on a system built by camera rigs like this one, which maps and predicts the physical world to guide your travel. When you open an app to listen to music, an algorithm has already analyzed your habits to curate exactly what you want to hear next. We readily accept these conveniences. We know what artificial intelligence does, but almost no one understands the mechanics of how it operates. To decode the illusion, we have to look under the hood. Artificial intelligence is exactly what the name implies, a human-made replica of the biological decision-making process. Think about how your own brain learns. When you see a dog, you instantly recognize it. That happens because your eyes have captured thousands of natural variations of dogs over your lifetime, building a reliable mental reference. AI mimics this exact observe, learn, recognize pattern. But instead of using organic eyes and memories, it ingests massive, raw streams of binary code straight into a microchip. The architecture making this possible is called a neural network, a digital web modeled strictly after the cells in a human brain. While the inputs are completely different, data versus sight, the structural goal remains identical, building strong connections to recognize patterns. Let's look inside a blank neural network. You are seeing a 3D web of glowing nodes connected by thin, dim lines. Right now, it knows absolutely nothing. During its initial training phase, we ask it to identify a cat. A photo enters the system, and the untrained network makes a wild guess. It fails completely. Here is where the crucial feedback loop kicks in. We tell the machine it's wrong. That triggers an error signal, forcing the network to physically shift and adjust the strength of those internal connections. Then we accelerate the process. We feed it a second photo, a third, and then 100,000 more. With every single pass, the successful node connections grow thicker and glow intensely. This iterative, self-adjusting loop is machine learning. The system eventually achieves 99% accuracy. It doesn't happen because the machine becomes self-aware. It happens through brute force mathematical trial and error, which brings us back to the center of the debate. If the machine can learn and adapt, is it actually thinking? When a human writes a story or paints a picture, the process is driven by spontaneous emotion, lived experiences, and a genuine desire to communicate. When an AI generates a poem, it is simply running a probability equation. It references trillions of documented text patterns to calculate which word logically comes next. The machine lacks curiosity. It feels no spontaneous drive. If you don't give it a prompt, it will sit in silence forever, doing absolutely nothing. The output might look exactly like conscious thought, but the mechanics reveal the truth. AI is the most advanced, high-speed pattern-matching calculator humanity has ever constructed. Many fear that AI is becoming an independent force, capable of deciding the fate of our jobs or our society. But when you look at the math, you see a tool that can only function within the specific limits we define. Because the machine is essentially a calculator, it possesses no ethics, no values, and zero malicious intent. Instead, the system operates as a mirror. The behaviors and decisions it outputs are dictated entirely by the quality and the hidden biases of the data we choose to feed into it. When we provide it with highly specialized data, this non-conscious tool performs miraculous feats. Look at this lung scan. In a fraction of a second, the AI isolates microscopic diseases, outperforming human doctors. The actual risk is not a sudden technological awakening, but rather the flaws in ethics hidden within the data humans choose to provide it. This shifts the weight of responsibility directly onto us. The ethical boundaries and future applications of this technology rest entirely in the hands of the upcoming generation. To master this tool, you must strip away the science fiction illusion and understand the cold, mechanical reality of how it learns. In a future driven entirely by high-speed pattern matching machines, human knowledge, wisdom, and critical thinking are not obsolete. They remain our ultimate, irreplaceable superpowers.